Good morning. Welcome back to Planet Doug. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning now, and I'm heading off on a little bit of a small but perhaps risky adventure. I say it's risky because it depends on the weather, and right now it's actually raining here. And I've delayed this little adventure a couple of mornings already because it's always been raining. But then I'm hoping that the weather will clear up by the time I get there. And where I'm going is a place called Bukit Dinding, which is a hill here in Kuala Lumpur that's filled with hiking trails. And I just sort of stumbled across this place recently when I was doing some research about Kuala Lumpur and Malaysia in general. And I was reading about Bukit Dinding. Sounded fascinating. They call it perhaps the last remaining green lung of Kuala Lumpur, meaning it's like a pocket of dense trees and bush and whatever, a green lung for the city, hemmed in on all sides by urban development and the giant buildings going up all around. And in fact, the other day I went to look at the place from the outside. I had brunch with some friends of mine, and we happened to be near Bukit Dinding. And my friend suggested, hey, we're close, let's go just take a look at the place. So we drove there and went to I guess what I would call the trailhead, the place where a lot of the trails start from. Didn't go into the park at all, didn't go hiking on any of the trails, but at least now I know where it is, and I have a small sense of what it's all about. So that's where I'm going. Going to go for a hike. It's not a huge area. I think it's like 300 acres, but the trails are supposed to be quite steep in places, which is why the rain is a bit of a concern because it could be quite slippery. You've got to get up sections by holding onto ropes, things like that. And I don't want the trails to be overly muddy, but at the same time, I'm hoping that when I get to the top, it's not a huge mountain or anything. I think the highest peak, the lookout point, is 291 meters high. But from up there, you can actually see the skyline of Kuala Lumpur all the way downtown, all the big skyscrapers that are here. So I'm hoping to climb to the top, of course, 291 meters, and then I'm hoping to get a nice view of the city from up there. And if the sky is filled with clouds, then I won't get the views. And if it's still raining when I get there, the trails could be muddy and slippery. So not quite sure how this is going to work out. As far as I know, the trains start running out of this station at 6, so I should be able to get a train pretty quickly, and I'll get out there. It takes about 40 minutes on the train, and then another 1.5 kilometers to walk through the city streets to get to the trailhead, so maybe an hour and a half to get to the start of the trails. And then I can show you the map of Bukit Dinding, what it looks like, and on all the various trails. And who knows, when I'm sitting on the train, maybe I can talk a little bit more about this place before I get there. Down on the platform now, as always, my favorite sign right ahead of me, telling me where it is I'm going. So here's Masjid Jamak on the Kelana Jaya line. KJ stands for Kelana Jaya, so the LRT Kelana Jaya line. And we're at Masjid Jamak Station, and we're going all the way up to here, Sri Rampai, which sits in between Wangsa, Maju, and Setiawangsa. And the Bukit Dinding hill sits in between these two districts, sort of separates them. So how far are we going? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stops. So maybe half an hour. I think Google Maps said it'd be like 39 minutes from my hotel to arrive there. So maybe half an hour to get here on the LRT, depending on when the train gets here. And I don't know how frequent they are at this time of the morning. We'll be arriving within 2 minutes. So yeah, I don't have any waiting time at all. 4-coach train on its way. I should probably save all of my info about this place for when I get there, but I've got time right now, so I thought I might as well keep talking while I'm here waiting for the train. So this area, as I said, is a hill, very, very steep sides. There's a lot of hiking trails, but there's also a lot of mountain biking trails. And there's actually mountain biking events that happen there every year, like those super fast, exciting, like downhill mountain biking competitions. So it's that kind of place. And yeah, 300 acres, as I said, 291 meters. And that whole area was first developed for tin mining, of course. So you got a lot of tin mining in the Kuala Lumpur area, and there was tin mining around Bukit Dinding. I don't think there were any mines dug into it itself, but around it, it was developed for tin mining. My train is here. Arrived already in Sri Rampai Station. I didn't talk on the LRT at all. The train was had a lot more people on it than I expected when we started off at Masjid Jamil. And yeah, I didn't want to bother people with this early in the morning with my babbling. So yeah, I didn't talk on the train ride here. Again, it strikes me as darker than I expected. I think, as I mentioned in another video, I think my brain is still on Sumatra time. And at this time of the morning in Sumatra, it would be lighter outside because of the 1 hour time difference. So whenever I head out into Malaysia, I'm always surprised. It's like, wow, it's so dark out here. A good thing to know for anyone who wants to do this hike or come out here. Yeah, in the LRT station, Sri Rampai, I noticed they have a vending machine where you can get water. You're going to need water to go out hiking, of course. So you can pick up a bottle of water there. And it's before 7 in the morning. And I noticed that there's a convenience store here as well. Right there, mynews.com. So they're open pretty early. And yeah, you can pick up something to drink or a snack there or an umbrella if you need it. This is the Sri Rampai LRT station. I think it has like a red-orange roof. Came here by car once before. My friends dropped me off here after we went to check out the trailhead. And yeah, I was kind of startled by the area because I was expecting a pristine sort of wilderness with hiking trails. And I guess that's what Bukit Dinding is, but it is now surrounded by the city. You can see these giant buildings all around me. This one here is, yeah, they're all lit up, the stairwells, I guess, parking districts. But yeah, landed giants, Kuala Lumpur. And that ties in with the history of the place because way back in the 1800s, as I said, this area was a tin mining district. And then it developed into a set of rubber plantations. And one rubber plantation in particular, the name keeps coming up, something called Hawthornden, I think. A giant rubber plantation. So this whole area would have been villages, farming areas, kampong, and tin mining and rubber plantations. That's what this, we'd be surrounded by all of that right now back then, which is kind of interesting. And that affects Bukit Dinding because, as far as I know, all of the original growth was cut down. So what we're going to see today on the hike, I think if you just went there on your own and just started hiking through it, you think, wow, look at this virgin forest, virgin jungle. But in fact, it's all secondary growth. So the hill was more or less stripped bare, and then all of this, what we're going to see now, has regrown since then, which is kind of interesting. I remember coming across that in Canada, and it was a kind of an eye-opening experience for me when I was doing a little bit of wilderness canoeing. And one of the themes, every time you go out into like northern Ontario, you go out into the Lake District and go wilderness canoeing, you start talking about the environment, and wow, look at this amazing forest and how beautiful it is and how terrible it is that we cut it all down to build things out of wood, etc. And then to my surprise, I found out that all of that wilderness we were traveling through, that was all secondary growth. All of the original trees there had been cut down already. And everything I was looking at that I thought of as pristine, untouched nature was in fact the secondary forest that grew back after we cut everything down that was there before. Which was kind of an interesting thought. I hadn't really come across that before. Not surprisingly, since this is Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur, it looks like just getting to the park is going to be a bit of a challenge. I don't know how this always happens to me, but the natural way of getting from A to B seems to be, yeah, I got to walk along this highway. It's like a giant double-decker highway system, train tracks over here, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember how we got here, Bukit Dinding is off in, and you probably can't even see my arm, but it's off in that direction over there. So we have to walk this way, assuming I've got my north and south straight. I don't think this is actually a sidewalk, but it's more like a drainage tunnel underneath my feet, but it's safer than walking along the highway. So yeah, I have to head in this direction, I think. Got to keep double checking Google Maps. It's about 1.8 kilometers from the LRT station to the trailhead. This area, by the way, and Bukit Dinding, this hill, Bukit means hill, as far as I know. It's all part of the Setiawangsa mountain range that stretches the whole length of, I believe, the length of Malaysia and then up into Thailand. But I think in Thailand they call it something else, but I think here they call it the Setiawangsa mountain range. And we're just on the edges of it here, just leaving Kuala Lumpur and edging into the mountain range. And this rock formation that Bukit Dinding is made from, is supposed to be quite old, one of the oldest rock formations in all of Malaysia, 300-400 million years old, something like that. And the area is prone to landslides because the rock is something that they call something like a schist type of rock that's made up of layers, and then the different layers can actually break and just slide off each other. They fall apart, so you do actually get a lot of landslides in these hills in the Bukit Dinding hiking area as well. There's there's my train. I'll be taking that one back eventually. And Bukit Dinding is related to other parts of Malaysian history. A major battle took place right here. And it was also involved in, whoa, a train is so loud. Wow. I don't know if you could hear that on the microphone, but I could hardly hear my own voice when the train goes by. Yeah, there's all these apartment buildings. But yeah, the emergency played a role in this area. And in fact, there was a Hollywood movie that was set in the emergency, and it was set and shot here at Bukit Dinding. The movie, I think, was called The Seventh Dawn. I haven't watched the whole movie, but I found it on YouTube, starring William Holden. Came out in 1964. And yeah, kind of a adventure drama story, but set in the events of the emergency. And again, it was filmed right here at Bukit Dinding. And there was even a P. Ramlee movie was shot here as well, called, oh boy, Bapak. Like, I think that translates as father's son. Quite a famous P. Ramlee movie. And it was set on a rubber plantation. And as far as I know, it was set here in the Bukit Dinding area, and it was shot here as well. So I think it's on YouTube as well. So you can actually see the rubber plantation history of this area in these two movies, and the history of the emergency. Yeah, this whole area just ties in with Malaysia's history quite nicely. So that also makes it an interesting place to visit, in addition to the hiking itself, which is why I decided to come out here. And I was thinking, so many people go to the eco park. So the eco park, I think it's also been referred to as a green lung of Kuala Lumpur, because it's a little pocket of rainforest right in the center of Kuala Lumpur. It's on the hill where the KL Tower is located. Very popular place for foreign visitors to go to. But yeah, the eco park is very well known. Everybody goes there. But I think Bukit Dinding is not as well known. So another reason why I wanted to come out here, check it out. Turning a corner right here off of this highway, turning left in this direction. And if I remember right, there's a huge building on a hill here. Can't see it right now in the dark, called Zito or Zerto, the name of the company, something like that. Yeah, it's too dark. I can't read the name on the building anymore. Something like Zerto. And then over here on the right, there's some sort of a military compound, recognizable by some barbed wire on the fencing and stuff like that. But I don't know anything about that. But I have to head in this direction a little bit and then turn right. And that is Bukit Dinding. You can just see maybe a little bit of a dark shadow, a ridge over there. That is Bukit Dinding. Yeah, this feels like old school Planet Doug, going all the way back to when my channel was called The Cycling Canadian still, I think. And I always found myself trying to get places in KL, and I end up walking down the side of a highway because, yeah, I couldn't figure out another way to get anywhere. Though I think in this case I could have gone through this residential area, but the most direct route was down here, and I didn't want to get lost in all the tiny streets down there, so I just took the direct route, which puts me on the highway. And all the Malaysians drive by, look out the window, like, what is that? Who is out walking around at 7 o'clock in the morning down the side of the highway? Well, that's Planet Doug. Or I should say that's what happens on Planet Doug. Yeah, I think this is where I turn. And there's a Bukit Dinding over there. And there's also a communications tower. Right up there you can start to see some lights flashing, some red lights. So that would be the peak. And that's where I'm going, up to that peak. So let's see if we can get across this highway. There's no traffic right now. Yeah, and here's the barbed wire that I mentioned. So I think here on the corner, there's some sort of a government military compound. Don't know what it is. But when they built those communications towers up at the top, they put in a paved road that goes all the way up to the top. And I don't know if it's still paved. I've only seen pictures of sort of paving stones like this, sort of like cobblestones. So it's a hiking trail now, but I assume vehicles, like not, you know, the public can't drive up there. You can only walk into this park, but the towers, I guess, if they need to service them or work on them, vehicles can drive up that road, and it's now it's one of the hiking trails. Yeah, I think there's like 8 or 9, 10 different hiking trails, all interconnecting, and I'm not entirely sure which one I'll be taking. I think I'm going to be going up on the Kazumi trail. I think there are a set of 3 trails called Kazumi, and they're named after a local woman who developed, or who had a big hand in developing the trails here. I don't know her full name, but one of her names, I believe, is Kazumi, and she did a lot of hiking through here, and I think the Kazumi trail that I'll be taking, she built it or created it, however you make a trail, and they named it after her, Kazumi. I think there's like Kazumi, different colors, Kazumi blue, Kazumi orange, or something like that. There's a map down here at the trailhead, and we'll take a look at that before I head in. Because yeah, it's too dark to go in there now. I'm here way too early, even for me. And I don't know about the weather. It's all cloud up there. But maybe once the sun comes out, it'll start to clear. We'll see. I'm passing some things here that make me think about another aspect of Bukit Dinding. It seems to be connected with water sources. That has been a big source of water for the city and for this area. And I just noticed here, like this giant wall around the military complex has all these holes in it to let water out. And I noticed this piping system here. And then I was trying to figure out what the heck these things are. I thought it was a street lamp. And then no, you can see there's a pipe here with an end there. So somehow this releases water and is designed to pour right out onto the street or something. So I have no idea what the purpose of all of this is. But I've just been noticing all these bits of piping and construction related to water collection, water reservoirs, things like that. And that's part of Bukit Dinding's history as well. I don't know whether it plays a role in that anymore. Ah, yes, this is all familiar to me. Sort of a U-turn over here. I remember with my friends driving, they had to go around this U-turn to get out of here, and the trailhead is just down in this direction. Yeah, being a Sunday, if there were going to be other people here, it would probably be today on the weekend. But because of the weather, maybe there won't be that many other people on the trails. But we will find out shortly. I was just thinking how long I'm going to have to wait until I can start going up the trail because it's so dark. But one thing I've learned in my life, I haven't learned many things in life, but one of the experiences I've had in my time is that the day gets bright really fast, much faster than you'd think. You might be cycling in the morning or hiking or whatever it is you're doing, and then it's dark out, and then the next thing you know, boom, it's light out because the sun hits the horizon, and then it pops up really, really fast. Same thing with sunsets. Always takes you by surprise. You think you got plenty of time to get to the beach to get that picture of the beautiful sunset. But once the sun gets near the horizon, something about it just drops really fast, and it also pops up really fast. That's my experience of the sun anyway. So I think it's going to get brighter very quickly. Well, check it out. We're just about there, right at the corner where you see that white van, where you might be able to see that white van. The door open, that's the trailhead, and I see, 4 or 5 people all decked out in hiking gear. So, yeah. And, I guess that's where we're heading, right up there. And there's another trail. I may change my mind and do that one. I think it's called Mini Tahan or Mini Tahun, and I think it's the longest trail, and it goes around in a long circle, and it might be the toughest and the longest, I'm not sure. But I don't know, there's something about the name Kazumi that jumps out at me, so I think I'm going to do the Kazumi. Yeah, those people up ahead look like hardcore hikers. I hope I'm not underprepared, because I'm not decked out for hiking. I'm dressed the same way I would be dressed if I were walking around Bukit Dinding. I don't know how bright this is, probably not very bright at all, but this is the trailhead map. And maybe I'll wait here until the sun comes up a bit more. But the red circle is where I am. And this orange one, I think that's the Kazumi Trail, goes up to the lookout point. And I'm assuming I can go back down, maybe the red and the blue, and do a loop that way. This yellow one here, I think that's the Mini Tahun, goes around, and you can see. So it's the sort of place you probably come back to 2 or 3 times. You don't do all the trails in one day. And I think this over here is the road that goes up to the communications, maybe this purple one. So there's another entrance over here, and I guess one over here. But this seems to be the main hiking entrance. At least on Google Maps, it's marked as the entrance to the Bukit Dinding hiking trails. Slowly getting brighter. Yeah, a lot more people here than I expected. I've counted 25 right now, and some of them are really well equipped. I mean, one guy I just saw go up, he had a big backpack. He probably had 10, 15 kilograms of gear. I don't know what he could be carrying, but a lot of people here have good hiking boots and walking sticks and rain gear and who knows what all. And but I was just looking at the map as it's getting brighter, and there's this, which is interesting. If you scan that code, you get a really nice layout, a map of all the trails. And I've noticed that there is some coding here. So this is the Mini Tahan, the yellow number 7, 7.2 kilometers, goes up to 239 meters. But you can see it has 5 black boxes, which means I think it's the most difficult. And then you see this one has 4 white boxes. Kazumi Santai number 5 has 2 white boxes. The red one, 2. Pandan has 1, so that would be the easiest trail, I'm assuming. And then the one I'm starting on, I think, is this one, Kazumi Otai, and it has 4 white boxes. So I think those are like the difficulty ratings. And so my idea is to take Kazumi Otai up to here, the lookout point, and then return along the red one. I think they call it the Senior Citizens Trail. And then it meets up with the blue one, Kazumi Santai, and that should bring me back to my starting point. And that's like 3 or 4 kilometers total. I think that's as ambitious as I plan on being today. But yeah, here is the hiking crowd. As you can see, a big group of friends over there. I was chatting with them, a couple of them. And then here we got another big group coming in. Funny thing for me with these experiences, I always feel like the amateur, like I'm the one person here who has no idea what they're doing, completely inexperienced and unfamiliar. And then you start talking with people, and the people I spoke with said, yeah, they've never been here before either. It's their very first time. So, yeah. So I think, yeah, if I chatted with a bunch of these people, they would all say, yeah, they've never been here before either. So we're all kind of in the same boat. Keeping an eye on the clouds. Still hoping that they clear away. I'm hanging back to let it get a little bit brighter. Have some mercy on my GoPro. It's going to be a lot darker when you get into the trail, so I'm waiting till it lightens up a bit more. And I don't mind if the big crowds go ahead of me. So there goes one big group, and then this other group here. So I'm going to let everyone go ahead of me, and then I'll follow behind. And there's another group over there. So I'm still here waiting at the entrance to Bukit Dinding, waiting for it to get a bit lighter before I head in. And the large groups have gone in already, but there are some people out here that are waiting to head in. And can you introduce yourself to the Planet Doug viewers?
Hi, Planet Doug viewers. My name is Tiara, and I live in KL, or Petaling Jaya, so yeah, and I hike once in a while.
I wouldn't say once in a while. I mean, look at you. You look so prepared.
Yeah, I like hiking.
Yeah,
like hiking.
You've got all the gear.
I've got the gear. Just didn't my poles, because you don't need poles here.
You don't need poles here.
Yeah.
Are you ready for rain?
No.
Yeah, that's...
I normally wouldn't hike here if it rains, but I was already on the way, and then it started raining on the highway. I thought, I'll just come across anyways.
So what makes Bukit Dinding a good place to go? What makes it special?
There's a waterfall inside.
Waterfall?
There's a waterfall that's pretty. There's it's challenging. So Bukit means hill in Malay, but you can do enough uphills and up and downs here to get a good enough elevation. So it's a good training ground. There's also ropes.
Ropes?
So the ropes are fun. I mean, I find them fun. Some people don't like them.
Okay.
But I like them because it's a different spin to a normal hike. Yeah, so it's not just a flat walk. It's quite steep.
I see.
And then the ropes make it challenging. Yeah.
Which ones have you done before? Which trails?
Oh, I follow my friend. He takes me to most. I think he's taking me to all.
All of them? Okay.
Yeah,
he mentioned you're doing the yellow one today, which is Mini Tahan. What does that mean in English? Do you know? Mini Tahan?
Mini is small.
Small, okay.
Tahan means to hold on to. But there is a mountain in Malaysia called Gunung Tahan. So Gunung Tahan is one of the G7 mountains, and it's an overnighter. It's steep and it's fairly difficult. It's deemed as fairly challenging. So this one is steep, like that, right? So it's that's why they call it Mini Tahan.
Okay.
Because it's a little version of the mountain itself, I suppose. I've not done the mountain itself. Yeah.
Would you recommend this as a place for foreign visitors to come, like a tourist?
If you're familiar with hiking, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're fit, yeah. If you're not so fit, no, I wouldn't recommend to anybody if you're not so fit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about entrances? I'm a little confused about that. This entrance is almost hidden. It's like a secret.
Yeah.
Is there another bigger gateway, an entrance with a park office, things like that?
No. But there is another entrance on the other side.
Okay.
So if you go up, I think most of these trails will lead you to the tarred road. So a lot of people will start from the tarred road, and that's a good workout area as well. It's quite steep.
I see.
And that's good for beginners because you wouldn't get lost or anything. It's just the tarred road, but it's super steep.
I see.
So it's a good training ground. Okay. But no guards, no sign-ins, nothing.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Doug.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
And maybe else. I'm not doing the yellow trail today. I'm doing the orange Kazumi, I think.
Yeah,
A little bit shorter.
yeah. Probably not as steep.
Yeah.
And maybe not as many ropes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more on the Tahan Trail? More ropes?
It's steep and there are some ropes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember which one is more. First time I went to had a lot. But
All right.
yeah.
Well, good luck. Have a good day.
You too. Have fun. Be
Okay.
safe. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
That was great. Time to head in. Probably making all of this out to be a much bigger deal than it actually is. The trail that I'm on is like 1 kilometer long to get to the top and things like that. It's, you're right in the middle of a city. I'm not heading out into terrifying wilderness or anything. But this is kind of interesting. I noticed this when we came to do some reconnaissance. There's some shoes left behind. Kind of reminds me of a Thai Pusam with all the shoes left behind. But I think these were all just sort of worn out, so people just decided not to take them home. They left them as, trophies or souvenirs from the trail.
That's new.
I thought maybe it was a Malaysian tradition.
No, it's not. It's not.
Not. Okay, let's head in. Kazumi Trail. So this is the orange one. And then right from here, the trail splits right away. Clearly marked, which is nice. The mini Tahan.
This is mini Tahan.
That's mini.
And that one is Kazumi Trail, the orange one. So that's a moderate trail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Moderate is good for me.
Yeah. This one will be slippery.
Yeah. Look at that. He's already going straight up.
Yes, and those are the ropes.
Wow, okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, the rain adds another element. Just looking at that trail there. Somehow I thought since it goes around in a long circle, I thought that would be the easier trail. But everyone's telling me, no, that's the more difficult one. And right out of the gate, the man in the lead was going up a very steep climb and slippery, like muddy, slippery. So, yeah, let's go. And I don't know about wildlife in here. Interestingly, when you go to the website, they have a really nice website, Bukit Dinding. I think it's .com, I think. But anyway, you can find it pretty easily. And they were talking about how this is secondary growth, as I mentioned. So this isn't original rainforest. This is all secondary growth. And because of that, they said the biodiversity is not that high. So it's not the same as, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like prime rainforest or anything like that. But it's growing, they said. So, give it enough time, of course, it becomes a full rainforest and everything grows back. But I don't know if there are macaques in here. It would make sense that there would be at least some. And what other animals and insects and birds? I don't really know. You can hear some birds. So what I'm looking forward to are the ropes. The ropes for climbing up the cliffs. But yeah, it's very muddy, which I wasn't really anticipating. Very wet in here. So I said it has a history for providing water for the city, like water reservoirs. But the trail, is full of puddles and mud right now, so. Okay, look at this. That's amazing though. I've gone, just a few meters off the road, and you've got a waterfall like this. Looks like it could be on the front cover of a tourism magazine. Look at that, beautiful. The first ascent with a rope. Not going straight up, but it looks very, very slippery. Yeah. This is definitely steeper than I expected right out of the gate. Yeah, this rope is kind of essential. And a kind soul put knots on the rope. I never would have thought of that, but right away, the knots are very, very helpful. Partway up the first climb here. This is the rope that has all the knots on it that I mentioned. Yeah, nice little waterfall down there. Nothing huge, but yeah, very beautiful. And then here's the muddy trail ahead. Reminds me of a few months ago when Bald and Bankrupt walked through the Darien Gap, and I got pulled into that world. I was watching video after video of people going through the Darien Gap, and it was exactly like this the whole way through. Muddy, steep climbs, and of course all the people going through the Darien Gap were not really physically fit or prepared for this kind of terrain, especially if you're doing it for days in a row. So yeah, this could be quite tough. But you can see people walking, they're actually carving steps in the mud all the way up. So far, at least, it's not really slippery. I don't know, this is a clay, and I don't know, the clay is really gripping my sandals, so that's kind of nice. It's not like I'm slipping backwards all the time. Seem to be getting a really good grip. I thought it'd be really slippery. Though those could be famous last words. If you find me slipping and sliding all over the place all of a sudden, remind me that I just said it's not slippery at all. Yeah, there's some more people coming up behind me. Yeah, you can see some landslides here. The water is carving this, and I think this trail is going to disappear at some point. Going to have to do something about that, or carve a new path for the trail, because I think eventually, yeah, it's going to fall away right here. This whole section probably. I'm trying to be aware of my surroundings in terms of the environment, like stopping from time to time, just to look. I'm fascinated by insects, spiders, anything like that. And usually you're surrounded by them, but quite often when you're hiking, you don't see them because you're moving too fast. So I'm just sort of stopping to look around, but other than mosquitoes, I haven't seen anything so far. I know they have those big spiders here. And if I catch one of those, I'll see if I can get some video of it. Not catch it, but I mean catch sight of it. I'm not out here catching spiders. Continuing on, I stayed there for a few minutes looking for macaques and spiders and beetles and anything at all, but I didn't really... Other than plant life, I mean, there's a lot of interesting plant life once you slow down and start looking for it. Like this here, for example. And I've been passed by 8 or 9 more people head on their way to the top. And 2 people just passed me coming back down that I spoke to earlier. And I said to them, wow, you're fast. You already got up to the top and back again. And they said, no, they just gave up. They turned around. They said it was too steep. So yeah, it was too much. Look at that. This color coding. And trail number 1. Hiking trail. Yeah, it's, like I said, 291 meters at the top. I don't know how much climbing there is in total, but it is pretty much straight up to the top like this. So that's where I just came up. Some other people right behind me. And the trail goes on like this. Yeah, I wonder, those 2 people that turned back because it was too steep, they made it up that part. So I guess the place that defeated them was even steeper than that. So it's probably like a rock cliff that you have to go straight up. I think there are a couple of sections like that. Oh, okay. So here we got a set of trails that are closed. You have to remember this word as a foreigner in Malaysia. Tutup. Closed. Applies to stores as well. And this one is Trek de Tutup. So no entrance. So I guess the trail has degraded to the point you can't really follow it anymore. Which is very easy to believe. Because like this is the main trail right here. And look what happened to it. Big gully got carved here. So I can see how any of these trails could get cut off and become impassable pretty quickly. Making a lot of progress very quickly. That's always a good thing about steep climbs. You can see breaking through the trees here. You can see some of the apartment buildings. Reminds you that you're right in the middle of a mega city. And here's another climbing section. But yeah, it's like muddy steps. You just have to find the steps to put your feet. On this one, you don't. To be honest, even the other ones, you didn't really need the rope. I suspect, in a way, that the rope makes it more difficult because when you're holding on to the rope, you have a tendency to lean back and pull your weight against it. But when you let go of the rope, you lean forward, and it's a more natural position for your body to be climbing. So I think the rope, if you don't absolutely need it, it's probably better not to use it. I think it's more natural. Like right there, I grabbed the rope just for a second, and it threw me off balance. But yeah, there we are. And there's the section there. Yeah, I can't imagine what these people turned back from. Wait and see what lies ahead. It must have been a heavy rain last night. My hotel room is so deep in the building, I don't really have any contact with the outside world. No windows, no sound penetrates. So there could have been a major thunderstorm and I wouldn't have heard a thing. I see a spider web here. Makes me wonder whether there's any resident spiders. I don't see any. Ah. The next challenge.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the blue one. And this is orange, Kazumi. Okay. I saw some people, they turned around. They said it was too steep.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was because of this. They said it was too steep.
If in that case, you can use the way.
Another way there?
Yes.
Oh.
The way.
This is the more fun way.
Yes.
So yeah, this is probably where the that couple turned back. In a way, it's kind of easier than the mud because the stone gives you a really solid foothold. But it does look more intimidating than the muddy trail. Yeah, again, I wonder about the rope, whether it's actually, like, mountaineers would be better suited to say what is best. But it just feels like the rope kind of throws you off balance in a way. Well, I'm still at the cliff section, the really steep, you have to climb straight up with the rope. And I met an experienced climber here.
No, experience, that's too much for me. I'm just a normal hiker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself to Planet Doug viewers?
Hi, I'm Jamil. I just live nearby in Setiawangsa.
Okay.
Just like 5 minutes drive away. So I'll be here every week.
I
I've
see.
got nothing to do.
So you are pretty familiar with this park?
Yeah, because I've been here since they opened this trail.
Okay.
I don't say that I'm very expert about this trail, but of course, if you want to go look all the trails, I can bring you around.
Yeah, you were saying that you can get to the top following this orange one, goes straight up,
Yeah, straight to the viewpoint.
but there's another way.
There's another way, this one. It will go to the tarmac road. Yeah, this way.
So that's
a lot easier.
That's easier.
Yeah, that's easier.
The blue goes all the way to the top,
Yeah.
or you have to change?
No. You will reach the tarmac roads, and then from tarmac road, you have to walk like 20 minutes to the top.
Okay.
But it's nothing there. It's just a telecom communication center.
Okay.
Then from there, there's another trail. You can go down. There's two trails actually. You can go to one to See See View. The other one is called Viewpoint Setiawangsa.
I see.
Yeah. But if you pass this trail, you will go there.
Okay.
You just follow me.
You've done this one before?
No, every weekend.
Okay. So
Every
you've
weekend.
even done mini Tahan.
Yeah, I done mini tahan, but that, like 3 times. It's too hot.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah,
There's no winds or anything. That's too hot.
I
But
see.
you prepare for training. If you are planning to go mountains for training, yeah, of course, that's the place, the right place.
How old is this park? How old are the trails?
This trail is like after the COVID, you know. COVID, how old? How many years already? 3 years? 4
3?
years? Yeah, something like that.
That's also before the
Before just
pandemic.
only they have a trail but for mountain bike only.
Oh,
So there's a group, they saw that the hikers need a trail for them because sometimes we just use the mountain bike trail.
I see.
Then they're doing bicycle anything, they get so mad, you know, because sometimes they go down very fast, you know, so
Right.
it's quite dangerous. So
Yeah.
there's a people, of course, lead by Kazumi to open this trail. Start from one trail, then now we have like a few trails.
Okay. So Kazumi Trail was the first.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the first, I think.
Okay.
Then after that, they expand to another trails.
And Kazumi is the name of a woman.
Yeah, one name of the woman.
Have you ever met Kazumi?
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah?
I always met him.
Okay.
He's always around because sometimes he check the trail also if there's fallen trees or branch. Then they do maintenance of the trail. There's a group actually.
Okay.
There's a group called Friends of Bukit Dinding. There's an organized group.
So volunteer? Was it volunteer?
Yeah, volunteer. They call it NGO.
Like trail maintenance is all volunteer?
Yeah, all volunteer.
No government funding?
No, nothing. Except some people who do the, what you call, sponsor.
I see.
Sponsorship. Provide like for this trail. You need the, what do you call this one? I forgot the name. The
ropes?
Yeah, the ropes.
The ropes? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the ropes, the bench. You will see there's a bench over there later.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess somebody has to pay for the rope
of
and
course.
put it there,
Yeah.
maintain it. Yeah. Huh, interesting. All right. Thank you very much, Jamil.
Yeah, Jamil.
Jamil, nice to meet you. And, well, the crowds have gone up. I'm here by myself. And I guess it's my turn to conquer the first cliff. Yeah, heading up there. Yeah, it's quite a bit busier on the weekend, I think, than on a weekday. So if you wanted the trails to yourself and you have a day available, I think a weekday would be better. But yeah, I don't mind having a lot of people around. It's fun to see everybody else climbing up and doing their thing. But yeah, there's the rope. And yeah, I think, like I said, I think for this sections like this, you're better off just going without the rope. And the rope can be there just as a safety net. But anyway. So I'm not going to film myself climbing up except for maybe from this GoPro here. I'm going to put this one away. So yeah, to start, yeah, just handholds, I guess. Yeah, I can feel this rock here. You can see how loose that is. This is kind of like the nature of the rock here, I guess, can be quite, yeah, it can break apart. Ooh, check that out. The, millipede or centipede. I guess it's a centipede. The crazy thing is, I look that up all the time to get the difference between a millipede and a centipede, and then I always forget when I see them which is which. It's like something about my brain won't remember that simple fact. I was going to get out my other camera to get a close-up of that guy, but some people are coming up behind me, so I can't delay. But yeah, if you don't mind getting your your hands a bit muddy and dirty, I think going without the rope is the better option. Just keep your hands forward and you can grab the rope if you need it. Yeah, serves as a good handhold, you know, to pull you up one step. So there's the view. Back down. Are you coming up? Thinking? They're pondering whether they're going to do it. So now I'm up at the top of this section here. Pretty slippery here, I have to say. Not so bad. Muddy hands. According to my guide, Jamil, there are more steep sections ahead. Though this would, I think would fall under that category right here. It's pretty steep. Yeah, no joke. This little Kazumi trail, no joke at all. Yeah, and the other thing about the rope, now that I think about it and have been trying with and without it, when you grab the rope, there's usually slack. So you end up going backward several inches, sometimes as much as a foot. And that's why you end up leaning backwards all the time, because there's, you know, slack in the rope. But if you're grabbing hold of roots and rocks, they don't move. So it's a little bit of a firmer path to hold on with your hands, to hold on to the rocks. Wow, check this out. Look at that, that vine going up and up and up. Yeah, look at the size of it compared to my hands. Oh, that is... And it goes way up there. You can see where I'm shaking it. Wow. Tarzan would be pleased with that. Stopped at another small platform where a couple of trails intersect. But yeah, they're all blocked off, so that direction can't go. And this direction has also got a sort of telling you, don't go that way. The Kazumi trail, well marked, going straight up ahead. But as I was standing here, there were some people going up and down, so I'm letting them go ahead. It just strikes me as just how humid it is here. Just, I mean, I'm drenched in sweat. All of my glasses, my cameras, everything's covered in moisture. And I happen to lean against a tree. Let's see if it happens again. You know, you give any of these trees a shake. It's like a rainstorm. They're all wet from the rain. What about this one right here? Very wet up here, and let me tell you, very, very wet. But yeah, so trail is continuing on up that direction. Starting to see something breaking through the trees, so we're getting near the top. I think we're kind of level with the top. Feels that way anyway. The trail leveled off here. And I can't imagine another cliff between here and up there, but we'll find out. Just a wide, comfortable pathway now. And I looked up the difference to remind my dumb brain, and that was a millipede. So yeah, I should remember that, but I always forget millipede versus a centipede. But yeah, a lot of vines up here. Still no macaques. Haven't really seen much wildlife other than the millipede. I hear birds, but that's about it. The trail sprung a surprise on me. I thought we had reached the level top, but we're going down again. So anything could happen. Down and then back up. But yeah, going down is actually, as seems to be almost a commonplace thing for people to say. Going down seems harder than going up. Just a lot easier for your feet to sort of slide out from under you. So you go quite slowly here. Yeah, you can see a lot of people right here. Just sort of like a ski hill. Whoa! There goes me. Yeah, sliding down that same section. Here, yeah, I think a rope is quite handy. So it keeps you from sliding forward. Oh, yeah, this looks a little bit treacherous here. Yeah, down he went. Oh, people behind me. Yeah, here I want to hold on to this rope. There we go, that makes it a lot easier. Almost like rappelling, but facing forward. Yeah, without that rope here, that would have been very challenging. Probably would have slid all the way to the bottom. Yeah, for that section I can see a walking stick, a pointed stick, being a little bit helpful. Poke it into the ground ahead of you and keep you from sliding forward. But yeah, no rope here, but there's lots of hand holds. In the trees. Yeah, I can't believe we're going down this much. Huh. So I spoke way too soon, because all this altitude that I'm losing now, you know, going down all of this, I'm going to have to regain it somehow or other to get back up to the highest point. I can hear water, so I guess we're going down to a ravine where there's a stream or a river, and then cross that and then start climbing back up again. Reminds me of classic jungle movies, because I'm constantly grabbing vines right now, and every vine here has like a different shape, different texture, and I keep thinking one of these times I'm going to grab a vine, and of course it's going to, if this were a Hollywood movie, it would turn out to be a snake. So far, no snakes. Yeah, look how steep this is going down. Yeah, Kazumi. Kazumi, the trail builder, what did you do? Man. That is going straight down. Oh, it's got a little bit of a zigzag here. Okay, I thought we were going straight the entire way, but there is a zigzag here. It makes it easier. Huh, yeah, here's where I hear the water flowing. Oh. Even the zigzag here doesn't make it that easy. Yeah, I need this rope. Oh, I got a good handhold here. I can spin around and grab hold of the rope. Yeah, that was a little bit of a challenge. May not look like it from here, but when you're there, you feel the force of gravity. And of course, in the video, oh, you can see, yeah, her foot is slipping and sliding. Yeah. Oh man, we're still going down. Wow. Crazy. More, yeah, this is more rope and going backwards. So yeah, here's the water. I'm starting to wonder whether I've taken a wrong turning. Feels like I would have been at a lookout point. Here's a snake warning. Just talking about snakes, and I guess they do exist. But wow. Yeah, this is me sweating. So yeah, I think for a lot of people, including me, this trail is a lot more challenging than I expected. I thought there'd be some up and downs a little bit, but this is much more technical than I expected. Yeah, I mean, check this out. This is the next part right here. And I mean, it's not that high or anything, but I mean, with these conditions, that's slippery mud. Yeah, you really have to hold on to that rope and go backwards. Yeah, it's like a little bit of a bottleneck, like getting to the peak of Everest, where all the climbers get clogged. Oh, the Hillary Step, right? That's where everybody gets stuck on Mount Everest, the Hillary Step. Very slow to get up that, and yeah, so, whoa. Yeah, she's going down forward, which probably isn't the best technique. Yeah, I guess, yeah, if you just sit on your butt and you can slide. But yeah, I'm definitely rappelling down backwards. Yeah, she made it. Yeah, I think that couple that turned around, they probably had the right idea for them. This might have been a bit too much, more than they bargained for. So, yeah, my turn to attempt this, and yeah, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna go down backwards. Whoops. Yeah, it is really, really steep. Yeah, and you need these knots too, just in order to hold on to the rope, unless you've got a really good grip. Yeah, that's the most,
You sure you want to fly up?
I do.
Right.
I didn't realize quite how steep it was. I thought it would be easier. If you can do it easily, sure. Okay. That would save me some trouble. You can film.
Challenging.
Yeah, it's still recording.
Right. I will be in your channel.
Let me get out of your way here. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. You can put it in your knapsack if you want. Just so it'll be easier. If you push the button on the top, that stops recording. But you can keep recording now. All right, well that was something. Yeah, a little dangerous. I wouldn't recommend it to too many people unless they know what they're doing.
The beginner is not friendly.
Yeah. Ah, good idea.
Yeah, nice. It's cold.
If you want to remember, you can stick that in your pocket or your knapsack.
Oh, yeah, of course. I will subscribe.
I'm very lucky he offered to
Yeah.
down at the bottom, and I've been reunited with my GoPro. Yeah, I was really lucky that that man offered to bring my GoPro down for me, because yeah, getting back up there was going to be a lot harder than I thought, and I'd have to wait for everybody else to pass before I could go back up, and then my battery would run out through all the waiting. But yeah, there's all these people, more and more sort of coming along the trail. But yeah, as I suspected, the trail came down to this little stream. Ice cold water, everybody's telling me. Yeah, you can clean off your shoes. And then it's probably the same water, the same waterfall that I saw at the very bottom when I started. And then now we're going back up again on the other side. On the other side of that small stream and that steep drop, going back up. And here we get some of the exposed rock again. Yeah, I was chatting with the two young women for a minute at the bottom there. They were the ones that came right behind me on that steep descent, and one of them was going to Mount Kinabalu next week. So this is kind of a training run for Mount Kinabalu. But as I said to them, like right now at this moment, in terms of my physical conditioning, I don't think I could do it. I wouldn't be able to just start at the bottom and go up the stairs all the way to the top of Mount Kinabalu. I'm not in condition to do that, I'm pretty sure. So I would have to put in a month of training hikes like this before I tried it. But they seemed to think I could do it easily, but I know my own body pretty well, and lately it just doesn't have the stamina that it used to have. Especially for like steady uphill climbing for several hours. I know I don't think I'd be able to do it. Or at least it would not be any fun, put it that way. It would be so hard. It would be miserable. There's no point doing it if you're totally miserable the whole time. Something like this is perfect. Perfect hike. A lot of fun. And you're not covering 50, you're not trying to cover 50 kilometers or anything like that. You're only going 2 or 3 kilometers, but there's so much variety in the trail and in the scenery. It's just a lot of fun. So the climb begins again. We're heading back up, I think, to an intersection with the asphalt road and the other trails and the lookout point. Heading there. Luckily, yeah, the big sign, Kazoo Trail. And at first I was a little bit confused because it just says Kazoo Trail. And I thought, okay, is it that way or is it that way? Because there's kind of a trail there as well. But then there's a little arrow up here. And it's better than the Jurassic Park arrow. I always think about that, where the guy crashed his car, hit the pole, and the arrow was held on with one nail so it could spin around, so you didn't know which way it was pointing. This one has 2 nails, so it's always pointing in the right direction. So this is where we need to go. And here's the climb. So, is this a rope or a no rope climb? Yeah, feels like a no rope climb. Am I on video? Yeah, you can. If I slip and fall, you have video of me slipping and falling. Ooh. Ooh. So how are you doing? Okay? Did you know the trail would be so difficult?
First time.
First time, yeah. Yeah, it's difficult. I need to catch my breath.
Yeah, sure.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, she just powered her way up the entire cliff. You went all in one. You never stopped from the bottom all the way to the top. Very strong.
Still young.
Still young, yeah.
Just wrong.
Yeah, to be honest, I think those walking sticks are more of a hindrance than a help as well. Like watching her go up with a walking stick seems quite awkward. One hand on the rope and one hand on the stick. This seems safer to me. Basically going up on all fours, right? Feet and hands. And you're sort of hugging the cliff with your whole body, leaning forward. Feels a little bit like this is the hot new trail in Kuala Lumpur. So many people here. Surprisingly, still walking along. I thought this trail was much shorter than it has turned out to be. Pleasantly so, much longer. The climb was quite a long ways behind me, and the trail has essentially been skirting the edge of Bukit Dinding, like going all the way around it, curving and winding along in some really beautiful areas like this here. A little bit of a deadfall. I always like the mushrooms. Yeah, for quite a long time now, at least it feels like a long time, the trail has been like this. Just walking along the edge of Bukit Dinding, the hill, Dinding Hill. And I imagine we're going to get a viewpoint at somewhere up ahead. That is our reward, on top of all the rewards along the way. And look, a lookout point. Looking out over, I think, Setiawangsa, if I understand where we are. Yay! I was starting to worry, was I going to make it or not? And there's the view of the city. Wow. Yeah, so we are looking out over the edges of the city. Setiawangsa mountain range right out there. And those cliffs in between the buildings over there, I bet you they're something special. I don't know what they are though. And some enterprising people brought up cold drinks and snacks and things like that. Yeah, you definitely need water for this hike. So, yeah, I have some, luckily. I already drank most of it. But yeah, if you don't have water, you'll be very happy to see that they have some here for you. Oh, and they even have touch and go. Do it now. So, to recap, yeah, we're here, Decini, and that's all we did, that little orange line. Feels like we went a lot further than that. Look at that, it seems like such a tiny distance. And here's where we are. And I guess to go back, it'll all make sense. Follow number 4 to number 5, and then back down again. The lookout point is behind me there. There doesn't seem to be a perfectly obvious way of completing sort of a roundabout route to go back to where I entered. Still trying to figure that out, but from here, it feels like the obvious thing to do is to continue on. There's another lookout point, which they cleverly named KLCC. And it says here 3.2 kilometers to the peak. I don't know if that's true or not. I heard somebody explaining how no, it's actually 1.6 from the entrance to here, and then 1.6 from here to the peak. So it's a total of 3.2, not from this point, but I'm not entirely sure because I don't think it's 3.2 kilometers to the peak from here. But anyway, I think it makes sense for me to continue on. At least I'd like to see at least the KLCC view. So you're basically looking into the city towards downtown. And then from there, you can continue on to the peak, the highest point, or I think you can come back to here and then you can return either on the path that I already did or on a different one. I don't know. I thought there'd be a very obvious loop to go right back to where I started from, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. But let's go take a look at the KLCC view and then go from there. This is seeming like the wise path to choose. I mean, the trail is beautiful. Look at this. The sun has come out. It's getting very jungly. And we haven't been going up and down at all, which is nice. I kind of needed a break from that. And we've just been walking on a smooth, flat surface. A little bit muddy still. You got to still worry about your footing. But I ran into the man that I talked to at the cliff climbing spot. And he knows all about these trails. And he said that, yeah, if I go this way, I go to KLCC Viewpoint. And then from there, this trail goes up to the peak. And then that's the tarmac. You meet up with the tarmac at the peak. And then he says you follow the tarmac down, cross a mountain bike trail. And then there's a blue trail. Turn left onto the blue trail, and that will take me back to my starting point. So that's pretty much what I wanted to do. So I just wasn't sure how it all fit together. I thought I would have to go back to where I just was, the Setiawangsa Viewpoint, but no. So yeah, we're on the right trail. Yeah, he was saying he's here to really get some exercise in because Ramadan is on its way. I keep forgetting about that. And then he will be fasting for a month, and then it will be much more difficult to do one of these hikes if you can't drink, right? So he's getting in as much exercise now, getting as much exercise as he can before the start of Ramadan. Every time I've gone into some sort of a park like this, into the hills or mountains, and you're following a trail, and you end up reflecting on the jungle. And there you are on a trail, and the trail is extremely difficult to follow. Like not this part right here, obviously, but some parts of this trail. And then you imagine taking away the trail, like being the first person to be here. And how would you get through this terrain without a trail through it? Like to be a trailblazer. Wow. That would be so hard. Yeah, and there's some kind of agriculture. The man I was talking to said there's like a garden back here. This is probably a part of the garden. Getting close to KLCC view. And here's a little bit of a rest stop. Some enterprising local men have put together a stop here. Some benches here we can sit on, and I got a can of ice cold winter melon. Yeah, very nice. Very it's not sweetened or anything like that. A very natural kind of a fruit thing. So you are growing something here?
Yeah, I plant watermelon there. You can see the watermelon.
Watermelon?
Yeah. They can go in.
Watermelon fruit tree.
And corn or something?
Corn. You can go
Pass
inside
away.
with it.
Okay.
You
Corn
can
I
go.
have done finished already.
Oh,
Before I plant a corn.
okay.
You can go with it inside.
Oh, it's okay for now. I'll just sit here and rest. Yeah, so they do some farming here, some gardening. So I don't know if this is the viewpoint, the official KLCC viewpoint or not, but you certainly see it. I had no idea that view was opening up behind me. There you go. Petronas Towers, TRX, KL Tower, Merdeka 118. Yeah, that was really nice. I was sort of expecting the KLCC viewpoint to have a big like set of tables and maps and like a more developed place, but it was really just an opening in the field. I didn't even know I was at the KLCC viewpoint until I sort of looked off to my left. I was like, oh, there's Kuala Lumpur. So it was like, oh, this must be the viewpoint. And then right below the viewpoint on the road, those farmers, yeah, the way they explained it to me, the drinks they're selling, they're just selling at cost. They're not making a profit on it. They're just selling it at cost as a service to climbers. They're just doing it to be nice. So yeah, my drink was about 2 ringgit 20 cents or something like that. And that feels like the same amount that you would pay in a store. So they could easily charge 5 ringgit, I'm sure, and people would pay it. I would for an ice cold drink at that point. And now we're on our way to the peak, the final stop before turning around and making my way back to the entrance. Yeah, it's very necessary to have all of these pink signs telling you where to go, because otherwise there's quite a number of trails up here. You could easily go in the wrong direction, or you just wouldn't know which way to go. So the Friends of Bukit Dinding Society are doing a nice job keeping all of this marked for people. Though I don't know whether you can actually see anything from here. I don't think there's actually a viewpoint. It's just the highest point, I guess. There it is. Bukit Dinding. Yeah, a little hike like this gives you a healthy respect for gravity, because that number doesn't look that scary. 291 meters altitude. It's next to nothing, right? And yet when you walk all the way up here, well, you feel it. You feel every one of those meters. Yeah. And then they've got the towers up here, the antenna towers. Oh, there's a macaque. Hey there, buddy. I thought there'd be dozens and dozens of them here. So, got one over there. I don't know anything about it. I hear some machines running, so I guess it's still in service. They're doing something. And then there's another one over here. Much taller one, I think. Yeah, just behind the trees there. And yeah, quite a motley assortment of dogs over there. Hey there, puppies. Yeah, so this is Bukit Dinding. So they do have a map here at the very top. This is where we are, the peak, and di sini. And according to my guide, the man who was helping me out, I can follow the tarmac down and then here somehow hop across to number 5 and then take 5 back to here. And then I don't have to go all the way back around. So That's what I'm going to try to do. And I just noticed they have topographical lines here, which really helps you understand. So here, for example, on the orange, when you're going down here, you can see the lines are very close together. So it's very, very steep. Here too, a very steep climb, steep descent, steep climb. And then here, if you went down there, you can see how steep that is. And then over here, more gradual. So yeah, it actually has topographical lines there. It can help you out understanding it. So off we go. So I found my macaques. There's like 5 of them here that I've seen so far. These trees right here are full of them. And it kind of makes sense. They're more by the road than the trails, because here on the road, I think people would be more inclined to feed them. You're not supposed to. They have signs here saying, you know, don't feed the wildlife, of course. But near the road, I think they have a better chance of getting food. So that's why they hang out here. Yeah, and just a few seconds ago, it's already been cleared away. But I was walking right here, and then I got to this point and I saw the macaques, so I stopped. And I looked up, and then one of the macaques was on a tree, and a very heavy branch snapped off and just went thundering down right where I was standing. So I was like just seconds away from being clogged on the head by quite a large branch. So this is the intersection of all the different trails. There's the asphalt and hiking behind me, and then here are a couple of mountain biking trails. So suddenly you start to see sponsors. It's kind of funny, you know, because they have big events here. And man, can you imagine going down this hill on your mountain bike? Look at that. That would be something else, a bumpy ride. But yeah, so they say here, no hikers. They keep them quite separate. So some of the trails are for hiking, some are for mountain biking, and they're completely separate. So for safety reasons, hikers are advised not to enter this trail. And then this is another mountain bike trail down there. But I think for me to get back right over here, I thought I had to walk quite a distance, but the blue trail is right here, number 5. I think they call it the Senior Citizens Trail. So that's what I need right now. Oh yeah, so yeah, there they are there. The names of them. Number 5 is, the blue one. So this is technically part of the Kazumi Trail, but I think it's divided up into 2 or 3 sections. So the orange was one of the Kazumi trails, and now this blue, I think, is another one of the Kazumi trails. They have different names, but I can't think of them right now. So now, instead of following the orange placards, we follow the blue ones. And this should take us to the orange trail right at the very end. And then we'll be back at the beginning. But hey, you cannot let your guard down. Don't think you're free and clear, because that's when you're going to slip on this slippery mud and these leaves. So still got to be careful, I think. Isn't that what the statistics say? That most of the injuries take place on the way down from something? Everybody sort of relaxes, and then that's when they have their accident. So I'm going to try not to do that. Now there's a deadfall. Ay, ay, ay. Blocking the trail. Look at that monster. Still looking for my giant spider. I need a giant spider sighting. I've not one so far. Hike update. We are going down pretty steadily. And yeah, I have no idea if this trail goes down and up and that sort of thing, or whether we just keep going down all the way. I'm not sure. We will find out. I'm going very slowly. I have to be very sure of my my footing on this. I'm going down. It's pretty slippery. There, I nearly went flying. But luckily there was a convenient bendy tree to grab hold of. Yeah, this is this is tricky. You see, these steps are like slanted, so you step in them and then you just, I think I'm going to try to use this strap over here. Yeah, that was the wise choice. My sandals would not get a grip in there. Ah, another strap. Losing my balance here. What's going on back here? Oh, there's a tree in my way. That's why. Yeah, this Bukit Dinding is throwing a couple of challenges our way to end the hike. Wow, it's so steep. Ah. Yeah. So it's not just me falling down. Well, that's a little bit. Oh boy. Oddly enough, so far this has turned out to be the most challenging section because it is steep and slippery, but there are very few ropes here on this particular section. And you're going down. That's the difference, of course. If you're going up, it's not nearly as challenging, but going down like this, your feet want to slide out from under you. All right. Oh boy, look at this. So I got a tree over there I can grab. And then a strap so I can turn around. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, looking ahead there you can see it's a beautiful trail. Feels very jungly, and I think we're getting near the spot that joins up with Kazumi Trail number 1, or Kazumi Otai, I think it's called. I think we're probably going to meet up with it where the cliff is, the actual rock cliff. So I was right. It's all making sense to me now. This is where the Kazumi Trail, the orange one, goes up the cliff. So if you wanted to go the difficult way, you go that way. And if you wanted to go the easier way, you can go off in this direction. You still have to climb just as much of altitude, but you don't go up and then down and then back up again, and you don't have nearly as many climbs. So this is the senior citizens route heading that direction, and this would be the youngsters. You begin your climb right there. Ah, all right. I love it when things make sense, because I was wondering when I was here, when I went up this, where did this trail go? And since I came from that direction, now I know exactly where it goes. So, yeah, look at this landslide. Yeah, got to be on your toes. And I think there's one more roped section to go down on this section of the Kazumi Trail. But yeah, now it's they're whoa, man down. Can't take your eye off this trail for a second. So yeah, let's go. My turn. Yeah. Decided to do it the slow and steady way, backwards all the way down. Yeah, look at that. Seems like somebody knows their knots. They tied these two ropes together. It looks like that's a very specialized knot. I wouldn't know how to do that. Every time I see a knot tying video on YouTube, I tend to watch it because I really love knots, but I can never remember any of them. Whenever I'm doing something, like I need to tie a rope to something, I always just tie a standard knot. I always forget the fancy knots. I guess I just don't need them often enough to commit them to memory, not being a woodsman. Yeah, that was no cakewalk. Whew. Again, I keep talking about it, but the main difficulty today is the mud. It's slippery. On a normal day, if everything is dry, then it wouldn't nearly be as challenging. But yeah, today it's you gotta take it slow and easy. Yeah, here it is. I think this is the very first rope with the waterfall down at the bottom. I think. Or there could be one more after this, I'm not sure. I think this is the first one. Or maybe not. No, this isn't the last. This is the second last one. There's one more. That's right. This is the short one. Last two sections here. A short rope and then a longer one. Right here though, these steps coming up were fine. Oh, there's a little rope here. I just noticed it. Okay. So I can turn around and go backwards. No slipping. I've got my other GoPro dangling from my pocket. And the poor thing has been bumping into the ground and into the trees all day long. But it seems to be hanging in there. That's what they're designed to withstand, so. Alright, this is pretty easy going. I can go forward. Still holding the rope though. And then down there at the bottom, at the river, I'm going to wash my sandals and my feet. Yeah. There we are, last section. And here comes an expert. Look at the speed. He knows what he's doing. I better get out of his way. Yeah, he's probably timing his run. Well done.
Yes, good.
You came down like an expert.
Yes, but very hot.
Whew. Oh, time to see if I can get some mud off these sandals. They are caked. Yeah, I need a brush. Get into the treads. Otherwise, I'm going to be tracking dirt and mud all over the place. Whew. Ah. Yeah. So, to be honest, I think that is the end of the hike. It's just a short distance here back to the trailhead. And I figure I might as well end it right here, a more scenic spot than being back out on the road. And then I'm just walking back to the LRT. Don't need to get that on video, now do I? Yeah, that was quite the little adventure. Enjoyed that a lot. Far more physically challenging than I expected. Yeah, very much so. So, but yeah, very, very, very interesting and a very enjoyable walk around there. That was very cool. So, end of the video, and as always, don't forget about the Planet Doug Patreon. Head over there, patreon.com, type Planet Doug into the search bar. It'll pop up. If you were a member of the Planet Doug Patreon, you would probably know that I was coming here today because on my way here I was posting updates to Patreon. That's kind of how I'm using the Patreon. At least one of the ways I'm using it is to post things in real time. A video like this is going to take a couple of days to edit and post. But so by the time you see this video, it's already happened. But if you keep an eye on the Planet Doug Patreon, well, then you're aware of things as they happen. And I've been keeping my phone running with the Relive app. So the Relive video map of this trip is going to be up on the Planet Doug Patreon as well. So yeah, head over there. There's a free membership. Keeps you up to date with all of the updates. And if you want to support the channel, there are some paid tiers for that and get extra benefits for that. So yeah, I'll see you on the Planet Doug Patreon. And as always, here on Planet Doug, I'll see you in the next video.